Hello again. So in addition to the previous video that I made about the future of the USA, I mentioned long ago that I wanted to make a video. I think it was last year that I wanted to make a video about the future of the USA, and in that video I explained some issues that I saw already in 2010 or so. And I saw no future for the time being in the USA going on a destructive, self-destructive path. And that's turned out to be exactly correct. It's actually worse than I thought. And when that changes, I don't know yet. In the Western Europe, it's not so bad, at least not yet. But it probably won't get to the stupidity levels that you see in the USA, with crime, with the gender bullshit and other stuff. There is something to this gender stuff, but explaining that takes way too much time, and it's also not relevant, really. It's not important. All the propagandists are their points are invalid, let's put it like this. But I want to say something, one of the issues is crime, but also denying reality, such as is done on YouTube, as I mentioned. And this guy seems to tie an issue that he talks about here, about crime, to the group that is the most problematic in the USA, the basketball Americans, when he talks about at the end about 85 IQ people. But I think he means that group and not just prisoners who commit certain crimes. But certain things he says are just wrong. I did an analysis. It's just not just that his way of thinking is wrong about people. He does not understand people, but also he does not analyze videos properly. It's really weird. I had seen this a long time ago. I bookmarked 3 videos already for this purpose. I didn't get around to it yet, but I thought, okay, I have done this video for the most part, but I will tell you a little bit about it. So this is about a video that he responds to, which is from this woman who was engaged to an actor who was killed when he saw someone taking a catalytic converter of his car, and he shot him. And this woman then says something, which is, why can't we all get along? And he criticizes that, but he does not understand why she says that. That has nothing to do with being soft on crime, because she also says that in this video, she says it literally, that these people cannot just be let out again. They need to face consequences. She says it, and he ignores it if it's not there, and if she's a problem, a symptom of a problem. Whereas that's not the case. She's not saying be soft on crime. She's saying, why can't we get all along, as a statement of, why do people do this? What are you doing, you idiots? That's also why she's addressing those criminals. It is like a display of being surprised at the stupidity of people. Same as I have with psychologists a lot, thinking, why don't you understand this? Isn't this obvious? And then about, for example, I had the same thing she said some months ago, when someone I know, a friend of a relative, told about what his family did. They were trying to screw him out of money, inheritance, and all kinds of stuff. They wanted this or that. He didn't care about those things. And I thought, why are these people behaving like that? Why can't you be normal? Can't you be friendly? Why do you need this or that? It's so stupid. And also this low-level crime is also so stupid. It's extremely unproductive. If these people put any effort into it, into real work, they could make much more money and have a much better life. But no, these idiots got to go to jail, do this or that, shoot people. Why? Now he says, this Walsh, So first of all, he misses that exact point of that woman that she says that criminals should face consequences. He then says that criminals like crime, which is again not true. It's not understanding people. It's not about liking crime. It's being in a certain mindset. I've seen multiple videos of him, and it would be interesting to see a video about him, but I haven't had time or the inclination to check it yet, what his views are on climate change and what to do about it, because that tells you what he's like. But because usually people who are conservative on the right do not want anything done on that in that respect and in that regard, because it costs money. And on the left, people do want to do something about it, but they are also not logical about things like gender and taking into account crime statistics on who are the real problem in society. So the BLM terrorist group says the basketball Americans are being persecuted, blah blah blah, all bullshit. They are the ones who are causing the most problems in society, and crime is not committed and caused by poverty. It is, as someone else mentioned, poverty is more a consequence of crime. Crime is not profitable for anyone except maybe the big drug dealers, but they also have a high probability of getting killed quite early. So yeah, there's something else. So he did make some good comments. At first I thought maybe he's a good commentator. It was, I think, this one. So I wrote this in November 2023 as an example of an analysis of an aspect in society. So there was a poem written in 1883 by Emma Lazarus as part of the effort to raise money for a pedestal for the Statue of Liberty. And it says, "Keep ancient lands, your stories pump," cries she, "with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses." This is, of course, a well-known sentence. "Yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed, to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door." This is, of course, an invitation to people who are trying to escape issues in where they're from. This is from the USA, 1883. And I wrote, "But this will only work if there is enough space and the society is not organized so much that anyone can fit in. What you had was a farmer-level society with the start of mechanization and industrialization, no welfare, and so on. Generally a low level of education. People would even start working at the age of 12, something like that. People were obviously going to have to be self-supporting if they were immigrating to the USA, or emigrating from the point of their own previous country. And note that to immigrate, there were health checks. You couldn't just get a residence permit if you had some serious disease. For example, people on the Titanic or something, they had to go through, who went to the USA to start a new life there, they had to go through some health check. What you have now, I've not written all of it down, but it's the high level of society in all aspects, high education, and you have welfare that people can use. So I wrote, "This means that people from countries with low education, different cultures and different work ethic and different religion will not just fit in. Worse for both them and the rest of society is that welfare is such that people are not forced to fit in by seeing the limitations of what they can do compared to others, to do those things that they should do. It is, there is not enough push for these people to do something, to be self-supportive, either in finding work, any work, or starting a business." So this is just an example of how you analyze things. And so I wrote this in November 2023 as an example, and Walsh made the exact same comment, or very similar comments, about that the USA in earlier times was a primitive society, farm level society mostly. People could immigrate to the USA, and they had to do everything themselves, and so you can let people in. I mean, they're not a drain on society. What happens now is that people who come are a drain on society. They are not of the right education that you could use. They are not self-supportive. They're immediately wanting food and benefits, housing, whatever. You didn't get any of that if you were immigrating to the USA or emigrating from perspective of the old country in the past. And he made this comment. I thought, okay, he looks like to be, he looks pretty smart. But then I saw other things, and I thought, my God, this dude cannot analyze at all. He makes some good comments. He sees some things that make sense. But other than that, as I mentioned in this video, this woman says criminals should face consequences, and he says she's an example of the problem in society. No, she isn't. She tells you exactly what people of a certain inclination see about doing crime, and also that there should be consequences to crime. This is not someone who says, "Oh, we should be so friendly towards criminals. They're so poor. It's all from their education or bad neighborhoods." No, she doesn't say any of that, and it's politicians who are problematic.